So there are lots of interesting things to talk about today. And before we go, let's talk about Termii Elevate. For over a month, I kept shouting on this podcast, Termii Elevate 1.0. I find any story like this, I will find a way to enter Termii Elevate.
You did your best.
Yes.
You did it.
So
how
was it?
The event happened this last Saturday, and it was an awesome one.
Beautiful.
Awesome in the sense that you get a lot of information that you would have overlooked, right? So I want to paint a scenario, right? Say you're a growth expert in a company, and then you notice that people that signed up on your platform didn't go past the input your password stage. So you just notice that there is a large number of people. What would be the first thing that will come to your mind? You've just been wondering. You might wonder what is the difficulty they are facing, right? Now, if you add a very good communication framework, you'll be able to plug in something that will send those people a mail or a message immediately and say, have you put in your password? Are you finding it difficult to get your password to go through? But if you don't have one, you just count it as, well, they can't get in and they can't get in. But what we discussed in that event is how to properly communicate with your customers such that you would be able to keep them. We see companies have large budget for marketing these days to get those customers. And what do you do with them? You just get them and then they go down the drain. They go out the same way they came with.
No, they don't go down the drain. They enter investor pitch decks and use it to raise the next funds.
No, don't let us go to that. Let's say we are talking about a company that's concerned about conversion, right? So you got your customers. How do you keep them? That was like the basis of what we discussed that day. And Termii, the owner of that event, is a communication technology startup, right? They help you to set up a communication framework that send even to the subtlest message to your customer. Say they want to pay on your platform now, and they just see like a padlock. You are sending them a message that your money is safe, or your PIN is safe, or your card details are safe, right? So I was opportuned to moderate a panel session that day with four experts, right, in the tech ecosystem. They are startups use Termii technologies, use Termii infrastructure. We talked to the CEO and founder of Enterscale, Tony Dada, who runs a startup that helps businesses to ideate, to push out the message of whatever they are offering, and helps them to retain their customers. Then I spoke with Frederick Adams, who is the co-founder and chief product officer of Bankly.ng. Toby Amira was also on the panel, who is the CEO of Team Apt, Kika Osiagu from Paystack, and Babajide Duroshola, who is general manager of M-Copa. And we discussed. That was a loaded panel. It was, and I was surprised that they were able to express themselves to the full, talking about which communication model a company should adopt and how one solution cannot work for every problem. Sometimes silence works, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes openness works, sometimes you just have to keep back some information. So it was a very, very exciting panel session, and that was not even the only thing that happened.
So let me stop you so
that
we don't do the whole panel session.
No, I'm moving away from the panel session now, right? There was another fireside session where
Oh my God. has told you
I
use
am very sorry.
Onome.
Okay, I just want to be formal. So Onome was the one that handled that fireside.
Onome is out of the frame now. But she's shaking her head vehemently.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. With the CTO, she spoke with the CTO of Termii, talking about their infrastructure and what plans, COO rather, of Termii. They talked about their infrastructure and what plans they have. This startup has huge plans. So we are going to link to the recorded version of the event. It was a very short one, but loaded, and you might have missed it, but then you didn't miss it. I would have loved you were there, but now that you were not there, I would love that you watched this video and learned something. Whether you're a small business owner or you have a startup that serves B2B or B2C, there's a lot to learn from it, sincerely. And let me just stop there. I'm so excited about this, let me stop.
Thank you. Yeah, and in case you're wondering what is Termii or who Termii is, so that in the tech ecosystem, I would say that one of the major epitomes of building in silence. They've been building a very, very massive company behind the scenes. And so let's say those of you using platforms like SendGrid, many foreign platforms to handle your communications on WhatsApp, on emails, and all of that. Termii helps you handle all of that, and they have local context. So I think theirs is way better because they understand how it is paining us because they've been in our shoes as Nigerians, as Africans, right?
And that's one of their peculiarities.
Good.
They understand the African market and they communicate it as it is.
Exactly. So yeah, I think you should check out that video and actually check out the Termii platform. I think if you're a growth expert, a marketing expert, a customer support specialist, you should have something or the other to, you should tap a Rema from.
Can I still say something?
You want us to do the whole event in this podcast?
Okay, go ahead.
What did you want to say? What was the topic?
Okay.
topic of what you wanted to say.
Okay, the topic is there are other departments that you would have to build to have a stellar communication.
Okay, can you list them for us?
Your customer representative department.
Very important.
It's
most
very
Nigerian
important.
companies, especially fintechs.
Right.
I'm looking at you.
Right.
I'm looking at you.
It has to be strong.
Fintech
right?
that shall not be named.
Then your operations has to be strong.
Operations, okay.
The operations has to be strong. Then one other department is the data department.
Okay.
They must be able to make use of all the feedback that your communication brings to you, and it will help them to take it back to that infrastructure so that you can serve them perfectly. But that is not all. You will find the remaining in the video.
Are you sure you've not given us everything here?
Yeah.
No.
So there's still more. There's still more.
Are you kidding me? I think something was loaded.
Can you guys hear that? There's still more. Good.